Welcome to Notes from the Not There Yet, a podcast for those navigating life's messy middle. Not lost, not arrived, just not there yet. It's the real stories, real life, and relevant journeys that you can actually relate to. It's for the creatives, the seekers, the doers, and the dreamers. If you've ever asked yourself, is this it or what's next? Then this is the podcast for you. We don't have it all figured out yet, and that's the point. All right, let's dig in. Welcome back. Welcome to the Notes from the Not There Yet. This podcast is for those navigating life's messy middle. Not lost, not arrived, just not there yet. And today you are absolutely stuck with me. And I want to talk to you today about something really sophisticated and intellectual, just really get into the nitty gritty. And that is, I want to talk to you about the hare and the tortoise. Yep, heard that right. The hare and the tortoise. That fable, the story that we all know and love. Why is that? Because recently I have realized something I think about myself, and that is that I think that I'm both the hare and the tortoise. Stick with me, all right? Stick with me. So life is really hard. Yeah, said it. That's it. No more. Life is really hard. It's really freaking hard. It's hard. It's scary. It's overwhelming. It's noisy. It's completely like oversaturated, tiring, and, just wow sometimes. And I wonder sometimes whether we're saying that enough without the life's hard, but like crack on, are we saying that enough? Am I saying that enough? Sometimes I hold back a little bit because I think whether that level of honesty is needed, does it actually make it worse? Do you need that level of honesty? But if I'm being honest with myself, I think that now more than ever, we do need honesty, and that level of honesty is actually quite comforting to hear. So, yeah, I know I do. So here I am saying it's hard, because it is. When I started the Not There Yet project, it didn't come from a place of like having clarity, of like me having it all figured out. It came from my own messy middle. I realised and acknowledged that I wasn't in the best place back in June when I was up in the hills of Scotland. I was in a career that I didn't love and that really kind of didn't love me back either. I was frequently hitting burnout. Life felt really overwhelming. It felt heavy. Everything just felt complicated, like just a battle all the time. And it felt directionless in a way that at the time I struggled to articulate, because, from the outside, everything was looking fine on paper. And I think that's the thing about the messy middle. Like, it rarely looks, dramatic on the outside, because most of the time you don't show that side of yourself, but inside you really feel that misalignment and you feel that a yearning, let's say. So since launching the Not There Yet project, and again, I want to be like really honest here, like my life hasn't like magically become easier. Like, if anything, it's probably become more fuller, more busier. I've added more onto my plate. I've got more responsibility, more ideas, more emotional investment, I'd say, than I had before, more care in people and others than I had, which I already had a lot, but like I feel like it's more. But there's been like positive changes too. after that trip to Scotland, which really did feel like a reset for me in terms of my mind and what I was looking for, I made some like active decisions. I changed my job. I looked back and I moved back into my full-time role in community. So I became a community engagement manager for Airbnb experiences. I chose community intentionally because when I stripped everything back and looked at like my values and my morals, they've been about human connection, events, one-to-one conversations, and helping people to feel less alone. And that has always kind of been there. It's always been where I've been pulled, like human connection, community centered, supporting others, and ultimately helping to tackle loneliness in a world that, I really feel feels increasingly more digital, online, disconnected. And then alongside that change of jobs, I also launched the Not There Yet project and this podcast. And from day one, the aim has always been simple. I want to build spaces, both online and in real life, where people can belong before they've arrived. I want to help support women and support people as they navigate both personal and professional development. It's not about like being fixed, and it's not even about getting to the point where you feel like you've done it. You just need somewhere where you can feel safe, that you're able to express yourself, you're able to grow as a human, you're able to become more than what you were. And that remains as true today as it did on day one. So for both these shifts, they have both brought me more clarity, more direction, more meaning in my life than I've had for a long time. And they've set me on a path of discovery and exploration. I've met so many incredible people already. Like, my podcast is just allowing me to meet these insanely inspirational people. The guests, I'm so lucky to have had them on, and all of them in their own ways are still finding their own way and still becoming too, but are so successful in their own right. And even though all that's gone on, there's still like, for me, like there's still that little voice in my head. I call her Aggie Ange because you're supposed to name the voices in your head. It helps you see them. And Aggie Ange, she wants to move faster. She wants numbers to grow. She wants things to kind of be quicker. Aggie wants the results to be stronger. I want to feel like life's a bit easier. To see that proof sooner, get the hype, get the early advantages, the quick wins. And when I was thinking about this, like, and there was this like pull, that's when I like started thinking about the Hare and the Tortoise. So I'm hoping you know the story. The Hare is fast, confident, naturally gifted, bursts ahead, gets really ahead really quickly, builds this like huge lead, assumes that talent alone is enough, and then kind of disengages, decides to have a nap, which I love a nap, loses like focus. Meanwhile, the tortoise is slow and steady and unremarkable in terms of its speed, but it's consistent, and step after step after step, we all know how it ends. Slow and steady wins the race. Consistency beats speed. Confidence comes more from consistency. And what matters is actually how the tortoise moves, not how fast. But here's the part that's kind of sitting with me at the minute, is what happens when you feel like both the hare and the tortoise, which is what's happening in my head. Like, what happens when your mind is the hare, but deep down, you know the tortoise has it right, and you know that the tortoise is going to win the race? Because for me, I do have bursts of energy. I get so excited. I go all in on my ideas. You know, even before breakfast, like sometimes I'll have like 47 ideas in my head, and I want to sprint. I want to move forward. And regularly I do that as well. And is that a bad thing? Like, is it bad to want to have that momentum, to want the quick wins, to feel that rush, if you will, of like early success? I don't think so. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I don't think the hare is necessarily wrong for being fast. He's wrong for assuming that speed is enough. He's wrong for it disengaging once he's ahead. The tortoise wins not because he's better. The tortoise wins because he keeps going. He keeps pushing. He represents patience. He represents discipline. He represents trust in the process. And he understands something that the hare forgets. Speed isn't always available. You can't sustain speed all the time. Confidence fluctuates. It goes up and it goes down. Progress is often invisible. And especially in today's world where everything is tracked and measured and optimized, that invisible progress can really feel like it's a failure at times, but it isn't. It's foundational. So for me, I feel like the modern reframe on this, the kind of rewrite, if you will, of the story and the fable that maybe we need today is that you don't need to be the fastest. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to be in everyone's face. You don't need constant proof that you're winning. You just need to stay in the race, because the people who keep showing up, they're the ones that will arrive, or they're the ones that tend to arrive. Not in that blaze of glory, not in the viral moment, but in the quiet and steady growth. And maybe the truth of all this is that you're allowed to have the energy of the hare. You're allowed to feel that ambition. You're allowed to be excited and have that drive and that push, but you should move, or maybe you should want to move like the tortoise. You know, build habits, build routine, consistency, and get up on those days. Make that small change, that tiny little step forward, even if you don't feel confident in the outcome. Post on social if that's what you do, even when it feels like there's not going to be an audience there. Pick up the phone and just have that conversation. You know, those small things that allow you to keep going when no one else is clapping or when no one's there necessarily. Because the race isn't about proving you're ahead. It's about not quitting when it's unglamorous. And for me, this reminds me / Aggie Ange that I'm not falling behind. I'm building. I'm building something that's going to be bigger than what it is right now. And that the Not There Yet project was never meant to be a sprint. It was meant to be a place at a pace. And it meant to become the home for those in the in-between. And that is just never going to happen overnight. So if you're listening to this and you're feeling a bit impatient, you've got that kind of, which I do all the time. And if you feel like you should maybe be further along, if you've got the kind of mind of the hare, but the reality of the tortoise, maybe actually like nothing's going wrong for you at all. Maybe you're just in the middle, and maybe the only thing you need to do today is just stay in the race. Not faster, not louder, just steadier. You're not there yet, but you're moving forward, and that counts more than anything else. If this has resonated with you today, if you feel like the Hare and the Tortoise, if they're not there yet project resonates with you, please do share it with someone who needs that reminder. It really does help. And as always, you don't need to arrive to belong here. I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Notes from the Not There Yet podcast. If you like this episode, please give us a follow or a subscribe. It means the world. You can also check out the website notthereyetproject.co.uk or follow us on all your major channels at Not There Yet Project. All right, we'll see you soon.